The film revolves around an app called Countdown. It tells you how long you have to live, making many people curious enough to download it. What seemed like a harmless prank turns out to mean that whenever the number on the app reaches 0, someone dies. Is there a supernatural force behind this, and who can stop the continuous deaths? Let's start with the recap. The film opens with a group of friends. One friend stumbles upon the Countdown app and finds it very interesting. So they play a game. Whoever has the nearest time to die has to drink everything on the table. They download it without reading the user agreement. The results come out quickly. Some have 3 years left to live, some 32 years, some 22 years. But Courtney's face turns pale as the app tells her she only has 3 hours left to live. Her friends burst into laughter, teasing her and giving her all the remaining alcohol because she had lost. At this point, Courtney's boyfriend, Evan, arrived and took the punishment for her. When the party ended, Evan had intended to drive Courtney home, but seeing his drunken state, she remembered the app and felt apprehensive. So she suggested they walk home together, but Evan refused. Finally, Courtney decided to get out of the car and walk home alone. Evan followed and tried to persuade Courtney to get back in the car, but to no avail. He angrily drove away. At this moment, Courtney received a notification from the app stating that she had violated the user agreement. She checked and saw that only 7 minutes remained, making her even more anxious. Meanwhile, a man in black followed her home. With only 2 minutes left, Courtney, terrified, quickly ran inside, locked the door, and turned off her phone. Thinking things were calmer, she poured herself a glass of water to regain her composure. But suddenly, her phone lit up with a countdown. Courtney was attacked by an invisible force and died when the countdown reached 0. At the same time, Evan was also in an accident. Moreover, a tree trunk pierced through the passenger seat where Courtney should have been sitting. Evan was taken to the hospital where Quinn worked. Seeing Evan's anxiety and worry, Quinn went to comfort him, and Evan told her what had happened. He gave her his phone, which showed that he only had 19 hours left to live. Coincidentally, that was the time he was scheduled for surgery. Quinn reassured him not to be afraid, saying the app was just trying to scare people. Then, out of curiosity, she tried downloading the app without checking the privacy policy and immediately accepted the download. The app showed Quinn's remaining time was less than 3 days. Evan only had 3 minutes left, and he decided not to proceed with the surgery. However, he immediately received a notification from the app stating that he had breached the user agreement. He looked up and saw something behind him in the mirror. Then the mirror shattered, causing him to panic even more. He rushed to the emergency stairwell and locked the door. Suddenly, the app showed only a little over a minute remaining. Footsteps approached. Evan looked up and was shocked to see his deceased girlfriend. The moment Courtney reached Evan, the countdown reset to 0. After learning of Evan's death, Quinn lost her composure. She tried to check the countdown on Evan's phone but couldn't unlock it. She then went to the morgue and used his fingerprint, but that didn't work either. Desperate, she pried open Evan's eyes to use Face ID and finally unlocked it. Sure enough, the countdown had reached 0. Quinn returned to her office, checked her phone, and saw that she had less than 2 days left to live. She was extremely worried. According to the remaining time on the app, that was the time she was supposed to visit her mother's grave with her father and sister. So she hurriedly called home to cancel the trip with her father. A second later, she received a notification that her user agreement had been breached. One problem wasn't solved before another arose. Dr. Sullivan was secretly trying to do something inappropriate to Quinn, but she wasn't one to be easily swayed and resisted. That evening, when she got home, she tried to delete the Countdown app but couldn't. She searched online for a way to delete it, but all she found were videos of victims. Just as Quinn closed her laptop to go to bed, she saw Evan again. Startled and terrified, Quinn smashed her phone, then ran to her car. The next morning, her sister Jordan came to stay with her for a few days because their father was away on business. But Quinn, having encountered some strange things, didn't want to involve her sister and told her to leave. Jordan then discovered the Countdown app and wanted to download it, but Quinn forbade it. Jordan, confused, angrily left. After that, Quinn bought a new phone. Seeing that the new phone didn't have Countdown, Quinn breathed a sigh of relief. But before she could leave the store, the app automatically installed on the new phone, and the countdown time remained the same. causing Quinn to completely collapse. Quinn was attacked by a demon in her car at that moment. In her panic, she slammed on the gas pedal and reversed, crashing into a car. While Quinn was being scolded by the car's owner, a young man named Matt came to her aid. They introduced themselves, and Quinn learned that Matt was also caught up in the trouble caused by the app. Matt also only had about 15 hours to live, so they teamed up to solve the problem. But first, they needed to understand the app's terms and conditions, which neither of them had read. So, Matt approached a drunk man sitting nearby and asked him to download the app. They then read the terms and conditions, which included a clause stating that users accept the terms regarding their fate. Any attempt to use information from Countdown to alter their death would violate this agreement. Knowing they were about to die, Quinn and Matt had already canceled their original plans and were therefore considered to have violated the agreement. Panicked, they rushed to the hospital to seek help from a priest. But since he didn't believe in ghosts, he introduced them to another priest named John. Just then, a nurse arrived and called Quinn in for a talk. Matt went into the restroom and felt someone following him. Suddenly, the lights went out. The phone's light wasn't enough to illuminate the area. A dark figure kept appearing and disappearing. But luckily, someone entered at that moment, and the lights came back on. Meanwhile, Quinn got into another predicament. Sullivan accused her of sexual harassment. As a result, Quinn was suspended from her job. Afterwards, the two went to find Father John and were fortunate to have found the right person. He told them a fairy tale. Before going to battle, the prince went to see an old woman and asked her if he would survive the battle. The old woman gave him a piece of paper with numbers, which indicated his time of death. She also warned him not to use it to save himself. He agreed and opened the scroll, discovering that his death was imminent. Therefore, he didn't go to battle, but sent his younger brother in his place. His brother survived and returned, and the prince went to find the old woman, who told him that death would no longer seek him. But the moment he changed his fate, the demon Ajin set his sights on him and tormented the prince until his death. That's why Quinn and Matt have been experiencing strange occurrences lately. This app could also be considered a modern version of what the old woman did. John said that if they could hack the app, there would be a way to break it. Quinn suddenly remembered the phone shop owner, Derek, and asked him to hack into the Countdown system. Very quickly, Derek hacked into the system and viewed all its data. Quinn even saw her sister's name in it. It showed Jordan, dying 3 minutes earlier than her. Then Derek changed the death times for all three of them, adding 60 years to their lifespans. The two were overjoyed, thinking they had escaped death. She even took Matt back to her house. They cuddled and fell asleep. The lights flickered and then went out. Quinn saw a figure through the crack in the door, so she tapped Matt's arm, saying there was someone outside. But at that moment, Matt pushed the door open and walked in. So who was holding her? Needless to say, it was the demon Ajin. Quinn was terrified. After calming down, they discovered the countdown had reset, leaving only 1 hour until Matt would die. On the other side, Jordan was also frightened by Ajin, but luckily Quinn arrived just in time. Then all three ran to find Father John. After hearing everything, he realized that the Countdown app wasn't as simple as he thought. John hypothesized that the curse could be broken if someone died before the countdown ended or survived the final second. Therefore, they prepared a protective circle to shield them from Ojin's attacks. Matt's death time had arrived. The church was plunged into darkness, and the demon appeared. The circle worked. As soon as Ojin stepped inside, his robe burst into flames. At that moment, Matt's death bell rang. It was incredibly jarring to everyone's ears, but strangely, Matt was unharmed. He saw his deceased younger brother. The boy wanted Matt to go with him. Matt didn't hesitate to step 1 foot out of the circle. By the time he realized it was a trick by the demon, it was too late. Matt was dragged away by the demon. Everyone chased after him outside and saw he was hit and killed by a car. The countdown reset to 0. Jordan was also injured and bleeding profusely. Quinn rushed her to the hospital for help. Even so, both sisters knew they didn't have much time left. However, Quinn came up with an idea. Sullivan still had decades to live. If he died, the curse would be broken. Besides, he was a bad person who deserved to die. Quinn immediately thought of a way to kill Sullivan, but things weren't as simple as she thought. The demon stopped Quinn. And at this moment, Jordan only had a little over a minute left to live. Jordan, terrified, fled from the demon, while Quinn continued her search for Sullivan to kill him. Unexpectedly, Sullivan ambushed her, but Quinn was no pushover. She was about to inject him with poison when the demon reappeared, disrupting her. Meanwhile, Jordan was also being controlled by the demon, which was torturing her mercilessly. At that moment, Quinn appeared and stopped the demon. If she died before her time, the curse would be broken. Without hesitation, Quinn took the vial of poison and injected herself in the arm. The demon was furious. It tried to seal Quinn's soul, but couldn't. Finally, it left in defeat. The curse was broken. Jordan ran to Quinn, crying and screaming that her sister had died because of her. But then another vial of poison appeared from Quinn's possession. Jordan immediately injected it into Quinn. Quinn quickly came back to life. It turned out that the previous death was just a simulated death. The two sisters embraced each other in joy. The countdown has stopped. Then the two sisters and their father go to visit their mother's grave. Meanwhile, Quinn learns that Sullivan has been imprisoned after being accused of harassment by other nurses. At the end of the film, Quinn's phone receives a notification that the Countdown app has successfully updated to version 2. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.